Hi, how's it going? I'm Nathan with the ebookreader.com. So I thought I'd do a quick comparison review between the Sony DPT-CP1 on the left and the remarkable paper tablet on the right. So they both have the same 10.3-inch e-ink screen and they have a lot of the same features. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. The Sony, it's definitely a lot thinner and lighter. It's like 115 grams lighter than the Remarkable. They got it really shaved down and it's very thin and comfortable to hold. The Remarkable is comfortable to hold as well, but a little bit thicker than the Sony, a little bit heavier. They got the aluminum back, and then it's got these page buttons on the bottom as well as a home button. On the back of the Remarkable, they also have these rubber strips at the top and bottom, so it keeps it from sliding around on the table, which is kind of nice. Top of the Sony here, you got the power button, USB port, and it's also got a button right there to access your files at the top of the screen. And then the Remarkable has a power button on top, USB port on the bottom. So they both use a stylus pen to write on the screen. The Sony's pen has more of a high quality feel to it, and it's got the buttons for erasing and highlighting, and the Remarkable, it's more of a plastic feel to it. The top comes off. You can store an extra stylus tip in there. They both use replaceable tips. The Sony has tops comes off because you have to recharge it. It has a battery in the Sony's. It also has a magnet to put the fin in the side there. So a thing with the Remarkable screen is you can't use your fingers or the stylus to turn pages. The Sony, you use your fingers to turn pages. With the Remarkable, you have to use the page buttons to page forward and back. Because it doesn't have like the support. It has a capacitive screen, but it doesn't have the support for turning pages with your hand, which is kind of strange. So overall, the Remarkable has more writing features. It's more geared towards writing and drawing. The Sony has more like PDF related features. For instance, you can't tap links in the Remarkable. You can tap links in the Sony. It'll take you to the link wherever it is. So this one was already on the page, so it doesn't go anywhere. But Remarkable, it's got a little bit faster response time when you're using the stylus, and it's got a lot more options for using the stylus. They both have the same sort of overlapping features where you can write on the documents, like your PDF documents. The Sony, it has this button on the stylus that you hold to use highlights, whereas the Remarkable, it's more of a freehand approach. You go ahead and access the highlighting feature, and it doesn't select the text. It actually writes over the text. So you have to actually manually highlight it like you would be, with a paper book. So it's different process with the Remarkable. Sony's also categorizes all your highlights, and the menu you can access your highlights with the Remarkable. It just sort of stays here on your page. There isn't any quick access. Sony also, the way the eraser works, takes away your full strokes. Where the Remarkable, you got more fine tuning with erasing. You can just erase exactly where you put the stylus. You can also erase the full screen. So again, you got a lot more refined features as far as the writing goes on the Remarkable. You got the highlighters, you got the different types of pens, different pressure sensitivity. The Sony doesn't support pressure sensitivity at all. It's just on or off. The Remarkable, it also has like shading. So if you wanted to shade like with your drawings and stuff like that. So it's got all these different advanced features as far as the writing goes. And you've got the pressure sensitivity. Like I said, you got different size pens you can choose from. You've got the different color pens you can choose from as well, on different thicknesses. So you've got a lot of different options as far as the writing aspects go. And then with the Sony, a bit more basic on that approach. You can choose different colored pens, but of course, they're not going to show up blue and red on the device. But when you export these notes to your computer, it'll show up the pencil strokes, whether it be blue or red or whatever you have chosen. And then you've got the different line thicknesses as well. So you got 5 different line thicknesses from thin to thicker. And then you got some different options to choose how thick you want your eraser tip to be as well. So a lot more basic than the Remarkable. Here's a closer look. You definitely got a faster response on the Remarkable's writing. You can't really hardly tell much of a delay at all. Very quick, very accurate. So the Sony, it has a little bit more delay. I mean, it's not like it's hard to write with, but it is a little bit more noticeable when you're using the Remarkable side by side. You got just a little bit of delay, and the Sony also does that refresh thing when you're writing notes, where after you're done writing, it sort of flashes. So here's a look at like the multi-page view on both of these. Let's talk some more of the software features now. Sony has a quad-core processor with 2 gigabytes of RAM. The Remarkable only has like one single core 1 gigahertz processor and like a half a gig of RAM. So I mean, the Sony's it's a lot more responsive when you're loading this multi-page view. It's faster to turn pages and load documents. And that's where the hardware upgrades are most notable on the Sony. So the Remarkable has a few like advantages of its own. So when you're using this custom cropping region mode, you can actually crop into your PDF document, and when you turn pages, it maintains that zoom level. So That's kind of an advantage, but it doesn't let you see the lower part of the page, and there's no way to like scan through. You can't like zoom down to the lower part of the page. So that is one problem with Remarkable. But with the Sony, when you zoom into the page on it, you can scroll around to the different part of the page, but you can't turn pages while it's zoomed in. So you would have to re-zoom in with every page, which is really, it's just really too time consuming to be practical. But neither option is as good as what Onyx offers, where it'll actually follow the page when you're zoomed in. So both of these kind of have some room to grow as far as the software is concerned. They're both rather basic. I would consider the Remarkable more basic, but it does have one thing Sony lacks in table of contents. I mean, it's just like one flat list, but you do have the option to view your book's table of contents, navigate that way. The Sony, for whatever reason, they never added table of contents support on the digital paper devices. But a couple advantages for the Sony: you do have the option to view all your annotated pages, all your highlighted pages. So on the Remarkable, when you add notes or highlights, there's really no easy way to find them or view them. Unless you there's not even bookmarks. So I mean, Sony at least gives you this option. You can view all your notes and highlights and jump to them. You can export them to your computer easily as well. So Sony also has the support for 2-page landscape mode. You can view the same document open at the same time, 2-page view, or you can do like this and have 2 separate documents open. You can turn pages separately. And then Sony also has that side note feature where you can have a notepad open next to your PDF document. So a couple advantages as far as Sony software. An advantage for Remarkable is it does support EPUB ebooks. They have to be DRM free, but you can load in DRM free EPUBs on here. But again, there's not a whole lot of software features as far as that goes. The Sony, it has a different sort of setup. The Remarkable has like more of a traditional home screen where it lists your different notes, your documents, your ebooks, notebooks. And then you've got the couple of different views, whereas the Sony, it just gives you a list of all your recent documents, or you can view them by folder. It doesn't really have like a home screen, so to say, so to speak. They both kind of have the same sort of moving feature, although the Remarkables is a bit more advanced. You can resize the whatever you're moving, your image or your note. So Sony has the same sort of option. If you write notes on the screen, you can actually select them later and move them to the side if you want, or move them around. Copy and paste them. So similar sort of setup on both of these. Remarkable has layers. It has a lot more advanced writing features. Like I said, Sony has some more advanced reading features. They both have search. One of the advantages with the Sony when using search is it gives you this list. So then like once you go back into your menu, you can view the same list exactly where it was. And another option with the Sony is you can search by marks. You can add marks. Since there isn't any kind of bookmarks, neither of them have bookmarks, but the Sony does have that option to add like special marks. You can use the star, or you got these 2 different options here, and then you can search that way, and you can add those to your documents and navigate your file that way as well. So it makes it a little bit easier since there aren't bookmarks. They both have different note templates. You can also load in custom note templates. Sony just has a few included, but you can load in any kind of PDF template you would like. So Remarkable has a lot more templates preloaded. As far as page turns, definitely advantage with the Sony. It's quite a bit faster with the quad-core processor. So, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video right here. Check out the ebookreader.com for full reviews of both of these devices. Go a little more detail with the videos. So, thank you guys for watching. Bye.